Dimensions of intelligence in 10 minutes. Can we do it? Can we do it? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. What you say about yourself is what you bring about yourself, folks. This is the Apex journey. Apex Christianity, Apex Humanity, the geopolitical Christian movement that is activating God's kingdom again on earth. When I talk about God, I'm talking about that power that when you experience it, you feel enthusiastic, you feel enriched, you feel enjoyed. Let's get into it. We've got 9 minutes. All right. So we talked about the 7 dimensions of holistic intelligence. We're going to go deeper into those. The first one is intellectual intelligence, IQ. Second is procreative sexual intelligence, which humans can't live without that. Third is emotional intelligence. Fourth is perceptual. I use proprioceptual intelligence, but it's too big a word apparently. And then 5 is pleasure intelligence, which is another form of sexual intelligence. Number 6 is social intelligence. And then 7 is spiritual intelligence. We could talk about financial intelligence as number 8. It would be very appropriate because the number 8 is associated with that. But anyway, let's get right into it. So there's 7 dimensions of holistic intelligence. The first is intellectual intelligence. This is true. Understand that true intelligence isn't about regurgitating Wikipedia facts, being able to quote studies, and having a 200 IQ or a 528 score on the MCAT, or writing code in your sleep necessarily. However, people that have those sorts of levels of intelligence do well in those areas. This is intellectual intelligence. You're a quantum physicist, or you study rocket science, or whatever. All right. But intellectual intelligence is about how well you synthesize the chaos into clarity and align with what you want in the most harmonious and pleasurable ways for you. That's intelligence as a whole. Okay. So when it comes to intellectual intelligence, this just means your ability to recognize patterns very quickly, call out contradictions, expose false logic, disable false authority, and very often people with very high IQs can do this very easily. Expose false logic, they can pick up on a logical fallacy, rational fallacies, call out contradictions, because they're able to see where there are patterns and where there's a break in the pattern. That's why you think all the ASPE autistic spectrum people, neurodivergents, that have these traits of high intellectual intelligence are very pattern-based people. Okay, so just that's intellectual intelligence. That's the first dimension. The matrix breeds reaction and compulsive coherence. Ooh, I'm sorry, that's too crazy. Compulsive coherence. So you see, we'll say, goodness, what is the word? It's an easy word. It's 2 syllables. Let me know in the chat below. But basically, it's when you follow the herd. Okay, so the matrix breeds that, and the matrix just means the system in which we find ourselves breeds that and encourages that. Holistic intelligence, however, sharpens your reflection and restores your divine nature by allowing you to cultivate the ability to recognize patterns, turn chaos into order, or into basically synthesize some sort of harmony out of the chaos of the human system. Okay, that's the first one, intellectual intelligence. A bit of a deep dive on that, but that's just a part of it that they don't talk about. Intellectual intelligence is pretty easy to find because it's the one form of intelligence that they test for in schools, and it's probably the least. It's a very important part of the thing. I'm not going to denigrate it. Okay, the second is procreative sexual intelligence. Okay, so this is something we're not taught in schools, we're not taught in society, and this is why we have such a broken human population, especially in this quote-unquote modern world. Sex is a big part of procreative sexual intelligence. The ability to identify viable partners and to effectively seal the deal. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Procreative sexual intelligence is essential for the procreation of our species, and it's very essential for a healthy, holistic human life. Very few people are genuinely asexual, but they exist. So let's not pretend as if asexual people don't exist. They do, okay? They do, and they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They are fine. Leave them alone. But 99.999999999, I don't even know how many nines it makes 8 billion. But most of us are not asexual, okay? All right? But we have to understand, for the rest of us, the 99.9 whatever people, sex is a trap as it is taught in the current system. If you are Apex, you understand that sex, as wonderful as it feels, can destroy your life. It can lead to a lot of long-term challenges. Okay, we got some activity. Woo! Hello, Shahina. Shahina sounds like reminds with something else. Shahina, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, maybe drop a like. Thank you guys for the likes. So sex is a trap, and if it's done the way the church or society teaches you, it will destroy your life. Okay, hands down. Just look, observe the world. Go to a church and look at all the people that have had sex and look how they look. Or they look like they're drained. You know, they look like drug addicts. Okay, either they have used abstinence like the church tells you, or they've defiled the church and they're secretly doing it behind the pastor and the deacons and their parents' back, and then they, oops, I'm pregnant. All right, at 16, oops. You don't need to do that, guys. You know, easy, guys. Don't have sex until your brain is online, or use sex properly and intelligently. Unless you master the sexual energy, sex actually kills your results, it kills your prospects, it kills your future. Mass breeding in the human system has led to mass stupidity. And there's a cycle of increasing stupidification of the species. Just think of we love animals, no denigration of animals. You see these cute little dogs with those smashed little fat, flat faces. They can't really barely breathe. If you put that little dog in the wild, in about 8 hours, a hawk or an eagle will come and pick him off. He's cute, but he has he's not a real canid. He's not a real canine. They're little tiny foxes half his size that will survive in the wild. But you've seen the Frenchies. I love Frenchies. They're cute. But they'll be dead in a very short period of time if you just put them out in the wild. They're not going to make it. So a lot of humans, unfortunately, have been bred like that, where we just let people just kind of go and do their thing. We've not cultivated the divine force within people. So this is happening to humans. The human brain and mind is unfortunately being stupidified by the social engineering process. Humans are all born brilliant, intelligent, full of God's brilliance and creative ability, but it's been beaten out of people spiritually and sometimes physically. So the procreative sexual intelligence leads to a positive procreation and breeding among apex humans. So with apex humans, what we do is utilize selective breeding. It amplifies the desired traits that we have. This is true for animals. It's also true, obviously, for humans. So if you breed docility or ferocity in a dog, you know, you see the Belgian Malinois, an extremely intelligent dog, but a very dangerous dog to have. In a lot of places, you have to have a license to have this dog. It's a beautiful dog. It looks like a miniature, really slim wolf with a black coloring. It actually looks like a German Shepherd, just a better body. And these dogs are extremely, extremely intelligent, but they're also extremely dangerous. And so you have to have, they've been bred that way. So they allowed the dog, the canine, to keep those intelligent, powerful, ferocious features. And what did they do? They found an intelligent, ferocious mother dog, a female dog, and they mated her with an intelligent, powerful, ferocious male dog, a daddy dog. And what do you think came out on the bottom? Little puppies with those traits. And so if you want to breed into society harmonious people who are intelligent and creative and kind and use evidence-based compassion and clean and all of these other positive traits, well, you have to breed those into your population. And so you have to be able to identify, okay, this group of people demonstrates these traits consistently, and so let's make sure that we encourage them to propagate their ideas within society or propagate their patterns within society. And so what are we going to do? We're going to do what a lot of intelligent countries, look at Saudi Arabia. They have certain mindsets. Look at China. They're not perfect countries, but if you're in Saudi Arabia, how many people are going to break your window and steal something out of your car? Not going to happen. There are reasons for that. Not just because, there's corporal punishment where they take body parts off when you do that, but because there's also a culture bred around that. If a woman notices that a man has certain behaviors and traits, she's not going to date him. She's not even, I mean, there's not a lot of dating, it's straight on marriage. So she's not going to mate with someone like that. And as apex humans, we have to take that into account. The sexual intelligence doesn't just mean when we smash our bodies together. It means when we share energy with someone that we want to share a sexual experience with. One of the partners I had in the past, she called it sacred energy exchange. She was absolutely right. You're sharing a part of your energetic field with another person. And if that person has an energetic field that, and I'm just talking electromagnetic field around their body that's emitted by the heart and the brain, if their field is filled with negative things that tear you down or that demonstrate inferiority, that's going to infect your system. Even if you don't get an actual STI from them, you're going to get an STI, a spiritually transmitted infection, a spiritually transmitted infestation. So keep that in mind. If you, so elite breeding is breeding with discernment, mating with discernment. And women are better at this than men. Sorry, fellas. All she's got to do is have a pretty face and a pretty body and we're in. I'm not in. I've never been. I'm a very elite breeder. But, you know, you have to, men have to be a lot better about breeding. And as a result, we'll actually see men that respect themselves better and things like that in society, because you're going to have sons from mothers that are going to respect you as father, and you're already going to respect yourself, so you're going to attract a woman that respects you, and then you're going to have sons that respect themselves, and then it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle, okay? It's a cycle. So unselective breeding perpetuates chaos and disharmony, okay? Stay here till 11, then we're going to jump out, all right? And that's just true of the human story. Lions, apex. Think of the apex predators. They do not tolerate low breeding. They don't allow it. They don't allow it. It does not exist. It doesn't exist. Believe it or not, a lot of the tigers that you see in captivity are inbred, and it's a very sad fact. I won't repeat it. Most of the tigers, obviously, in the world are in captivity. Most of them are actually in Texas. I mean, Siberians, Bengals, Sumatrans, Java. There might be some Javan specimens in some private collections, believe it or not, even though extinct in the wild. But anyway, so selective breeding among certain animals, they don't play with that. You know, if a female encounters a male that doesn't seem like he has the ability to pass on strong genetics, they will smell that. And you know, cats and dogs and wolves and all these other real, you know, apex predators will spray their scent on trees, and a female can go and go, oh, he has an infection. Or, oh, he's well fed. All right. And so I'm giving you an example, right? And they're far more, you know, the scent glands and all these other things, they're transmitting information about themselves to other animals. All right. And animals can pick up on all these things. Society tells us to breed with dopamine and not to breed selectively. And so lies like follow your heart. Okay? You got three intellectual centers: your heart, your brain, and your intestinal, your intestines, your your large and small intestine. They're more serotonin receptors, I think, in your small intestine. I have to look that up again. It's been a while since I looked it up. Let's see. God, as I made Eve, as Steve, the womb of a man. Okay, work on your English and then drop that in again. So the second thing that society tells you that destroys our ability to breed is marry for love. Okay, in apex societies like in India and a lot of the societies, they're just like, yeah, you're not marrying for love. You're gonna figure out how to love this person in the long term. Not the best approach, but it's way better than just marry for love. Because for a lot of men, they're deprived of training around sexuality, and so they think that they're in love with the woman that they're actually just sexually attracted to, and that conflation in men is very destructive, and it's led to a lot of problems in society. And then thirdly, they tell you, mate for anyway. Women are they tell you to marry for love instead of for social refinement. Women are better than men at this. Women always marry up, or I should say, vast majority of women marry up, and I won't mention the statistics here because I haven't looked at them in a while, and I'll mess the numbers up. But most women marry up. They say women fuck up. They always it's referred to as hypergamy. All right, but there's hyperandry as well, and no one talks about it except for this guy. That's why you need to subscribe to his channel if you really want to be in on the end. So anyway, reproduction, we're still talking about sexual intelligence. Reproduction without self-realization and without a relationship with the Most High God is why society is spiraling into an abyss of absurdity. We're in a clown world right now. Anyway, global overpopulation is a myth. This is something I want to make it very clear. Yes, we've kind of bred ourselves into a stupidified kind of form as humans, but that's not, that's really social engineering. Every single child born is brilliant. Every single child born. I've worked at schools all over the place. I've been in like in Egypt, the kids are brilliant. In Switzerland, they're brilliant. In Mexico, they're brilliant. In Peru, they're brilliant. They're just brilliant little angels from heaven. And then something happens. Socialization. But we haven't gotten to that point. But anyway, so the idea that there's overpopulation is a complete, absolute lie. And I'll demonstrate that for you here. And I'll probably turn this into a short at some point. There is no actual overpopulation. Now, I'll tell you how to prove this to yourself. Just use simple math. Every human alive today can fit into the land mass or the land space of Texas. Okay? So let's do the math. Okay? So the land area of Texas is 268,596 square miles. I'm just going to go through it. I'm not going to hold us up too long. Divide that by 8 billion people, and you get 0.00000335745 square miles per person. So 0.00000335745 converted into square miles gives you 936 square feet. So around every single one of those 8 billion people, you will have 936 square feet. That's approximately 1,000 square feet per person. Every single human being on the planet with 1,000 square feet around them. That's a small apartment. That's that's a medium-sized apartment. Actually, it's not a small apartment. It's a medium-sized apartment. That's a medium-sized apartment. Now, obviously, we don't want to live like that. But that's 268,000 miles, 268,596 square miles. That's Texas. So there's no such thing as overpopulation. It doesn't exist, hasn't existed, will not exist. This planet has the potential to support up to 24 billion people sustainably. And we are barely grazing on 8 billion. All right? So let's see. Okay. I was thinking to see if you got your stuff together, God. I got him. He got me. I got him. All right, you can keep putting comments in there. Let's let some intelligent people say something. Say hi to somebody if you got a brain functioning in there. I know you do, God, but I get what you're doing. You're just bored. Okay, you're probably 12 years old, right? Or 16. No, I'm 31. I'm sorry. Sorry for the pejorative sarcasm here. But so we are not overpopulated on planet Earth at all. At all. We just did the math. We demonstrated that. Every single person can fit into Texas. And I just did the math. If you want to see the math again, go to minute 18, and you'll see that every single person on Earth can fit in Texas. But we are overcrowded by design in cities, neighborhoods, slums, towns, whatever, right? Not typically towns, but your major cities. Too many people clustered around these little nodes. Okay, why? Because overpopulation breeds lower intelligence. And when you have a large population of people concentrated in a tiny, overpopulated area, then what happens is they're sharing all of these electromagnetic fields that are being produced by the brain, the heart, and the gut, and then also some other parts of the body. But primarily brain, heart, and gut. Those are where all the serotonin receptors are, in the brain and gut. And then in your heart, you have the SANA nodes. But you're producing an electromagnetic field around your body, mostly from your heart, then from your brain, then from your gut, in that order. Okay, and depending on how big your gut is. But cities are overpopulated. Okay? I have been through so many empty parts of the earth, and I can tell you this place is not overpopulated. And I'm talking about arable land where you can grow food, okay? And there's rivers and stuff. Yeah, not overpopulated. So the only people that believe in overpopulation are people that go to college and don't get educated. They get indoctrinated and they sit in the classroom. The professor tells you, oh, climate change, overpopulation, bullshit, bullshit. All right. So in areas where you have dense populations, harmony is destroyed. Trauma, abuse, addiction, disease, all of these are escalated. Even if you're not participating in trauma, abuse, disease, all these things, you are sharing energy fields with people that are constantly victims of this stuff. As a woman just got punched in the face this morning. Okay, well, guess what? You're walking past her and you're picking up on her energy field. Worse, she lives one wall over for you in your apartment complex. And guess what's infecting your energy field? That's why it's important to get your money up so you have your own place and be separated from people like that, okay? Or some depressed dude is contemplating deleting himself from the census, and you're like living one wall over from him. Every day in the morning you wake up, your brain's got to battle that energetic field, right? So distraction, disease, depression, destitution, all of these are the vibe of overpopulated areas, and the functioning brain is overtaxed. If you're ever in a city or something like that, go to, let me see if this one's I am Groot. Hey, thank you, Groot. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome. If you're ever in a large city, New York, San Francisco, LA, whatever, Miami, go to the wealthy neighborhoods, the truly wealthy neighborhoods, where when you drive by, it gets quiet, and then everything's got a gate around it, and the houses are not close together. They're like, half an acre, 2 acres, 5 acres apart. Notice how you feel in those places. Now, if you've been psychologically abused into thinking that the color of your skin or the type of car you drive is going to make you stand out, throw those thoughts in the trash. Those are stupid thoughts. Just drive through the place. Just drive through the richest neighborhoods and notice how you feel. You feel amazing. When I'm in Atherton in California, I feel amazing. When I'm in Hillsborough, I feel amazing. When I'm in Woodside or Portola Valley, these are like the richest places in North America. I feel amazing. Greenwich out in Connecticut, feel amazing. Okay? When you go to West Palm Beach, Newport Beach, and right outside LA, and like I feel amazing. Why? Because there's space. It's beautifully manicured. It's gorgeous. And of course, there's lots of gorgeous, attractive, beautiful women walking around and running around after their yoga classes, right? That's how pretty women run. That's how hotties run. They have perceptual unintelligence. No, they're so beautiful. Anyway, so squalor and chaos create fear-based reactive humans who are easier to manipulate, and that's by design. So a lot of these places where you have overbreeding must be raised, and redesigned as we go into the golden age. Ghettos, raise them to the ground. Trailer parks, raise them to the ground. Obviously, the people that were living there need to go to better places. We need to design neighborhoods that are harmonious and functional, that have centers of learning and centers of healing that emit electromagnetic frequencies that calm the human brain and body down. We can do this. We've done this. I've been in places where they're actively doing this. I'm not going to go into more details. Okay, so all of this stuff about, oh, the world's going to shit. No. It's not. The world's fine. We've got all the solutions. We have healthy food for everybody. Everybody can eat healthy food. Everybody can live in a beautiful home. Everybody can have a beautiful, amazing job that they love. Every single one of the 8 billion people. And we can do that for up to 24 billion humans sustainably. And I'm not talking packing them in sardine cans like they do in friggin' China, right? By the way, China's a beautiful place. I got to go there. I haven't been there yet, but I will be. All right, so the apex human existence requires opulence, harmony, beauty, spaciousness, and an environment that elevates the body, spirit, and soul. And I can tell you, I have been in places like that, and it's very hard to have bad thoughts. It's very hard to be mad at people. It's very hard to be pissed off about anything because everybody's friendly. And people look at me like, how your skin color. Every time I go to super rich neighborhoods, I'm talking like Gates and Staff, when you get past the house, because I used to work in a lot of these neighborhoods. I worked in South Pasadena, very nice, very wealthy neighborhood. Arcadia. Yeah, Arcadia. And of course, Hillsboro, Atherton, Hill. I already said Hillsboro, Portola Valley. I don't care about Palo Alto. I feel like Palo Alto is a ghetto, but Stanford, California. I'm talking really rich places, man. I'm talking the median income is like in the upper six figures. So, friendliest places on earth, hands down. And I don't drive my Bugatti Chiron through these places. I drive one of my Kias. Okay, guys, don't take me too serious. I'll drive a Bugatti Chiron right now. I'm in my Bugatti Chiron. Read between the lines. You know I'm joking. All right. So anyway, you're not here to increase the chaos. You're here to improve the gene pool. And when you activate your connection with the Most High, that awakens and activates your inner genius, allows you to pick the right partner, and it activates your procreative sexual intelligence. Okay, so you're here to elevate the human species. You're apex, not latex. I thought that rhymed, so I put it in there. All right, we got a couple minutes. Okay, we're at 3. Got 4 more to go. Let's see how far we can get. Emotional intelligence. That is the third dimension of intelligence. All right, we already talked. You already hear enough about this, but I'm going to talk about the things they don't tell you about it. Emotions are not indulgences, men. There's a lot of guys that talk about how important it is to feel their emotions. Yeah, okay, you weigh 250 pounds and you're 6'5". If you express your emotions the way your 5'5", 120-pound girlfriend does, you will kill somebody and then you will go to jail forever. So women can express their emotions in a specific way, right? And people are just going to go, oh, right? But as a man, you have to have some emotional intelligence. And so women do have an emotional intelligence. Not all of them, but most of them do because they're encouraged to do that. Men are encouraged to have emotional stagnation or they turn off their emotions, basically. And this is not super healthy, but we do need to cultivate emotional intelligence. Working out is a great way to process certain anger because you need anger to create things. It's a great way to beat depression. It's a great way to process things, okay? Also, talking with your fellow brotherhood, men. So emotional intelligence is something that is essential to being apex because you know when a certain emotion arises, okay, I got to step away. There was a point in my life where I was just taught, scrunch it down, scrunch it down, scrunch it down. Do it for 30 years and see what happens. Boom, right? You explode, you throw things, you scream and cuss people out, you scream at the top of your lungs like a psychopath, which is what you are because the emotional flow is a feminine thing, right? And not talking about feelings all the time. I'm talking about it's a river. Thoughts are masculine because they're encapsulated. They're blocks of energy. But emotions are rivers. So you can walk past a person who's depressed and you can feel it. It's a river. And so men are not taught how to work with that river. And having emotional intelligence means working with that river. The system thrives on triggered people. So all these emotional blue-haired boys that wear dresses and stuff like that, easily triggered, they don't exist as much anymore. Everybody's going red pill now. But these guys who still exist out here in California, they are more a threat to society than the deer hunting, MAGA hat wearing, Christian guys, right? Because those guys have at least found an outlet for their emotions. But a lot of guys are taught, okay, you have feelings, they matter nowadays, and just express them. You deserve to express them the way a woman does. No, you don't. So you have to have emotional intelligence and the ability to regulate based on what you are as an individual. Women are better at it just because they're trained. Men are not. Emotional regulation is spiritual authority and control over the matrix. If you get a bunch of bombarding information about, there's a war over here in this place in the world, and there's nothing you can do about it, it upsets you to see it, and you say, you know what, I'm getting depressed and upset with that stuff, click, click, click. If you have emotional intelligence, you can separate yourself from that stuff because there's nothing you can do about it, and you can just live a happy, good life. All right? If you, okay, it's important to feel what you feel, okay? I'm not negating feelings. Feelings are extremely important. However, feeling what you're feeling Just feel it, understand it, regulate it, find a way to express it in a harmonious way. The big word for all of Apex expression is harmony. But obey none of your emotional states and obey none of the triggering situations they try to give you. Oh, racism, oh, border issues and politics and war and Israel versus Palestine. Ah, da, 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 da. Obey none of the emotions that come up. Feel what you feel. Like I feel deep sadness for the suffering those children are experiencing. It just really breaks my heart. I feel sad for that. And I feel those emotions. But am I going to cry and break down in the middle of Safeway? Like, oh my God, they're killing babies. No, no, no. I mean, if I was a cute little 5'5" female, 110 pounds, maybe get some money out of it. I don't know. So anyway, master your state or be mastered by it. Schools perpetuate emotional ignorance. All right, they overemphasize emotions and they don't accentuate reason and logic. Reason is a feminine quality. Logic is a masculine quality. All kinds of videos on that, but that's another digression. Scientific dogma often plays into emotionalism. Save the forest, dead animals, climate change, racism, democracy, women's lib, rainbow-mindedness stuff, and what's the other thing? They kind of use emotion to promote scientific dogmas and scientific doctrines that don't have any basis in reality. Overpopulation, and they'll tell you that when you live in the middle of Manhattan. Yeah, oh yeah, look at all these people. It's really overpopulated. No, it's not. Do the math. I already did it earlier for you. Easy. 250, do 300,000 miles divided by 8 billion people. And then when you get that number, just convert that into square feet. And you'll see that the earth is not overpopulated, guys. All right? All right. Education has become an indoctrination system that demands mental submission and obedience to authority, not truth, not exploration. So all emotional intelligence allows you to do as an apex human is to be in charge of how you feel when you are bombarded with certain information, certain images, certain things. If you have control of your spirit, like the Bible says, greater is a man that controls the spirit than one who runs a city. If you control your spirit, man or woman, you control your destiny. You control your future. Okay? Got a bunch of malarkey here. I'm just going to skip it because it's a bunch of stuff about how stupid society is. Who cares? All right? I don't care anymore. Of course society is stupid. Your job is to like take the stupidity of society and win. So the fourth dimension of intelligence, fourth dimension is perceptual or physical intelligence. And this just means you know how your body works. You know when you feel this pain, it means that. A lot of times they can trick you and they say, oh, you got a headache? You need a migraine medicine. No, you don't. You probably are low on certain vitamins or nutrients. You probably need to drink water. You probably need to rest. You probably are working too hard, or maybe you're probably not working enough. So when you have proprioceptual intelligence, which is the fourth dimension of intelligence, then you understand your body. You can listen to it. You know what it's saying to you. Okay? The matrix, sorry about the terminology. I'm being an Andrew Tate here. But the matrix keeps you seated, sedated, and screen bound, and this starts in school. And so they tell you, you got to use a bathroom, well, you need to get a pass. What do you think that does to the brain of an under 5-year-old child? Now they tell you, you need to use the bathroom, you just go whenever you want. Either way, it doesn't make any sense. What that does is it teaches you to outsource your proprioception to a clock, to a teacher, to a principal, whatever, whoever's in charge, someone else. Instead of saying, you know what, this is what my body needs, and taking it the next step, let's see, historically, it takes me about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes to really need to use the restroom. And how long does it, you know what I'm saying? So we're not teaching children how to regulate their bodies. Nowadays, they're just saying, oh, you got to pee? Just get up and walk out immediately. That's not teaching proprioceptive intelligence. What instead you can do is you can learn, okay, well, I've got to use the restroom now. Let me think about when is the most appropriate time to do it because I'm going to miss out on something I'm enjoying here, right? Again, education is not enjoyable to a lot of kids, and so they just want to use the bathroom as soon as they get a moment. And I understand that. I don't blame them. All right, proprioceptual intelligence makes use of embodiment, awareness of space, kinesthetic precision, proprioception, I already mentioned that, and health consciousness. All of these things are part of physical or proprioceptual intelligence. And these things are not taught in phys ed. They need to be taught. I think it's very important. My stomach hurts. All right, let's explore. What did you eat earlier? And teachers do help kids with this. Or, are you tired? Or are you afraid? Because there are a lot of people that when their stomach hurts, it's a stress response. But other people, they ate some bad yogurt and they got the doo-doo, excuse me, the shits. Okay, so proprioception is very important. A big part of proprioceptive intelligence is health consciousness. Pardon me, guys, super intellectual conversation. I'm looking at my time. Health consciousness just means, okay, they're telling me that kale is really good for me, but every time I eat kale, I hate the taste. I feel terrible, but the doctor said it's good for me, so let me keep eating it. No. Proprioceptual intelligence says, okay, my body for some reason is reacting negatively to this thing that everybody else likes. I'm not going to take it. There have been supplements that I took and, supposedly really good for you. And every time I took them, I felt terrible. What do you think I did? Stop taking them. Threw them away. All right? So health consciousness is very important. And it also, when you have physical intelligence, proprioceptual bodily intelligence, they can't trick you with things. They can't say to you, oh, smoking is going to kill you. It's going to make your life terrible. Right? Or smoking is healthy for you. Oh, weed is good for your brain. They can't tell you that. Because the moment you smell it and your body responds to it, you're going to go, no, I don't like this. And you're just going to say, not for me anymore. And you're going to get rid of it. You're going to stop smoking it. I know for me, I used to think, oh, weed is so good. Oh, everybody says weed is great. And then I wanted to, thank God I've never smoked it. I've never tried it. I've only had CBD oil for a tooth at one point. But then I learned that there were better methods to healing the tooth and taking care of the tooth. And I used those instead. And I realized the CBD oil was a terrible, it messed up my dreams. And my dreams are very important to me. So it doesn't matter what the Matrix is saying about how healthy marijuana is and all this stuff. I knew that the smell, I hate the smell of marijuana. I hate it with all of my heart. I hate the smell. I don't like the smell. I don't like the culture around it, really. I mean, I like the people. They seem to be happy, but I don't want anything to do with it. And that's me using perceptual intelligence. Perceptual intelligence applies to everything. If you get near a person, and let's say you think they're attractive, and you talk to them, you smell them, even if they smell good, like they don't smell stinky and dirty like a dirty butt or musty armpits, and you smell them, but their smell just is off to you, that's proprioceptive intelligence. It ties into sexual intelligence. You say, oh wait, this person's body odor doesn't work for me. I've been with women who are stinky and they smell good because they're genetically compatible with me. And I've been around women that smelled amazing, like flowers and all the good perfumes, but the scent of their skin something was off. And so that's proprioceptive intelligence. They don't teach you that in school. They don't even tell you that it exists, but you need it. The Egyptians had 150 senses, I think. No, 365 senses. 360 senses. We only have 6. I'm giving you guys 7 more. All right? Apex humans have an embodied sense, and this is a big part of proprioceptive intelligence. We listen to and care for our bodies. Our bodies, we love our bodies because our bodies are a temple of the Most High. This is where the Creator dwells. This is where the inner genius dwells. So we love our bodies. We take care of our bodies. We work out as it pertains to us. We do whatever we do whatever we can to make our bodies beautiful and healthy. And when we love our bodies love us back. So we have beautiful bodies. We have beautiful spirits. Our bodies are the temples of the Most High God. And so if you are, pouring poison into your body, alcohol, whatever other thing you're putting in your body, and if you are causing your body discomfort and pain, perhaps take a minute to ask yourself, why don't you feel worthy of having a body that feels good? Sometimes you're in a relationship, and every time you're next to him, you shiver on the inside. You never show it, but your body shivers a little bit. You don't feel safe. Why are you putting yourself through that? If you're with her, every time you are done spending time with her or something like that, you just feel dirty or you feel off or you feel sad. Proprioceptive intelligence. I've learned very quickly. I used to try and trick myself into liking women that I knew my mom would want me to like, or I knew that other people would approve of me liking. And now I cut that out completely. If I look at a woman and my body immediately goes yes, and I'm not talking about I get aroused, because I don't really get aroused that quickly with women or anybody, but I'm saying like because I have to connect with a person first, and so if my body tells me oh yes, then I just go talk to her, but that's because I have proprioceptive intelligence, and I also have sexual intelligence. Okay, so proprioceptive intelligence means we can feel the energy in the room, in our bodies. We love our bodies. We move with precision, with power, with presence. And also being a cellist for 30 years, I've learned how to control my hands and my brain and look at pieces of music and produce beautiful sound and dancing and martial arts and all these things that I did for many, many years. And I've been very fortunate to develop proprioceptive intelligence. My parents taught me that. My dad dances. He's an amazing dancer. Uh, my mom was teaching us tennis and having us in swimming, and of course we were bike riding. Of course, she got us into cello and violin, and we were in orchestras and things like that. So we learned how to control our bodies. We learned about our space. We learned how to sense energy in our room and in the room and in our bodies and things like that. So physical awareness is metaphysical access. When you activate your proprioceptual or perceptual intelligence, your physical bodily intelligence, you're able to pick up on spaces, and you can pick up on the limited perspectives of others, and you can exploit that in a positive way for yourself. All right. Well, we're at 11:02. We're getting through it. All right. It also helps you to develop physical presence. Like you can actually control a room with proprioceptual intelligence. It's very intelligent. Yeah, this is a very deep conversation. I'm using giant words, and people are just going, "I can't take it." Next, they want me to go ooga booga ooga booga ooga booga ooga booga. And that's how you keep people in the chat. I don't care. I'm not here for that. All right. I'm here for a group of people that embodies these 7 dimensions of intelligence. All right. Because these are the people that are going to run the planet. We already run the planet, but more effectively. There's a culling period that's going to happen soon. But don't worry about it. All right. So stay with this channel. You'll be all right. All right. So the 5th is pleasure intelligence. That's co-creative sexual intelligence. This is a second form of sexual intelligence. This is your creative potential. It's your ability to bring things into the world. Sex is not just smashing bodies together, sharing fluids, and then a human popping out 9 minutes later. That's not just the only version of sex. Sex is also sharing minds, sharing spirits, and a new idea coming from that. Look, 2 totally straight men can be buddies and brothers in an enterprise, in a business, and their ideas can come together and create a new life form, a new idea, a new song. A lot of these really butch rappers with their boys making amazing songs, that was sexual energy. It was sexual energy. Okay, one was the feminine aspect of the river person, and the other look at Outkast, Big Boy, and the other guy. Sorry guys. Anyway, Outkast, the only Grammy-winning rap award group. One had a water energy to him, and the other had a very stone principle energy. Sex is just the polar opposites come together to create something new. And so when you have that, sexual energy is not erotic, it's generative. The word gene, genome, genius, all of these mean like genetics. It means to generate, general, genesis, to generate, to create, the beginning, creating something new. And so that's the 5th dimension of intelligence. What you birth, as far as ideas, businesses, futures, solutions, they must align with your holistic intelligence quotient. And the spiritually elite don't just create, we curate reality. We watch reality and we say, we like these things, but we want to create this. And we get with the people that will help us to create that. Okay? New ideas, solutions, inventions, I already talked about that. These all come from sexual energy. Couples who cannot have children, like gay couples and whatnot, can actually create amazing things and have done this historically using sexual energy combined to create a beautiful world and loving world. Now, it helps, they were also sexually involved with each other, but they're not bringing new children in the world, because sex is actually about bringing new humans in the world in its physical component. But the spiritual component of sexuality is bringing new things into the world of any form, ideas, solutions, inventions. And number 6, we're getting to the end of this. Let's do this before 11:11. Social intelligence. Social intelligence is the 6th dimension of intelligence. Social scripts are for NPCs. Okay, I don't even like using that acronym, but you know what an NPC is. This is a person that's a non sequitur. There are people that I didn't use that word right. There are people that don't think for themselves, have not accessed their inner genius, and they're basically scenery. They're just scenery meat puppets. All right, and they choose to be that, and they just turn their brains off, and they just that's all they do. All right, and so they need a social script. You fit into this group. Oh, what are all my friends doing? They're wearing their pants down to their butts, and then they're talking yo 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 yo. Okay, let me go do that. I tried that in 8th grade, but guess what? I turned whatever 8th grade is, whatever the year is after that, and I just stopped doing that. I started to use my actual brain, and was like, well, my parents hated the fact that I was trying to do that stuff. They were like, yeah, don't listen to rap and stop doing that crap. Um, and so I stopped because my brain functioned and I played cello and I couldn't do that. And so, you know, I learned that I'm just imitating the crowd. I'm not being what I am. I don't speak like that. I mean, I can do it because I speak multiple languages, so I can speak in those terms. But I've heard so many guys talking using a vernacular or slang system that it's not communicating anything to anyone. Riz. What are the other words they use? Riz, and it's just two more syllables. Ka, riz, ma. It's just ka and ra. They just want to say riz. Ka, riz, ma. We save time. What time? You just anyway. So Apex humans aren't here to blend in. All right. We recognize soul signatures and energetic misalignments. All right. Hidden motives, spiritual mass, things like that, and we stand out. And we know how to manipulate the stream of people around us to our ends. You can actually exploit the stupidity of society. Okay, Ray, are you in the left or the right? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of singles nearby. Okay, yeah, yeah. Who cares? I mean, what are they gonna do for me? Jump? Anyway, maybe I'll check that out. Check on that after I'm done with this. Maybe I'll see what's happening. All right. Talking about good culture, hood culture. Yeah, hood culture. Hood culture is not real culture. Hood culture is not real culture, guys. Yeah, and I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah. Hood culture, yes, I'm referring to hood culture, but also this like I don't know what it is. I hear these young people going bruh, and it's like I feel like every time I hear bruh, like 1,000 brain cells have died just immediately, like just bruh. I can't even say it that much. Well, I probably should, so I can slow down and be like hip with the people. But you know, it's like there's this it's consistent dumbing down of the species. English is already a poorly designed language. It's not even a language, it's a pigeon. And so it's like you're gonna take a poorly designed language and even do worse with it. It's frustrating. And I hear these young kids talking, and I love them because they're kids, you know, and they're teenagers, and they're great. They're wonderful. They're beautiful souls, man. I really love kids. You know, they're really beautiful. But then I hear them, they go, bruh. I mean, I was like, risen up, and then they use these sounds like, and it's, I don't understand it. And I use some of that in the conversation here to make it colloquial. But like, there are these sounds they use oh, I heard this guy earlier talking. It was so hard to listen, man. It was like listening to Ooga Booga. It's like, okay, it's Ugg and Gug, and Booga and Booga. It's, I don't know what's going on, man. It's so insulting to like your ancestors. All you have to do is develop language anyway. Like language is a powerful positive, and it's a very magical thing. And you can utilize words and vocabulary, terminology, syntax to like well see now I'm using like, but it's okay, I use like a lot. So but you're using sounds and you're crafting them to create meaning that you can transmit across to the other person, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And then you go bruh then in the future, what is it, 3 generations, we're gonna walk around and people are gonna go ooga booga. What does that mean? That means that he has a car and the tire is broken, and he also wants to get a hamburger sandwich. We're digressing, guys. I mean, we're not digressing. We're de-evolving as a species. All right. Anyway, English is one of the most complex languages without brain rot. LOL. Yeah, it's not a language. I'm sorry to say. I'm not even sorry to say. I'm gonna be honest. But it is. It is. It's not. It's not a language. It's a lingua franca. It's actually a pigeon. It's like a busted version of Germanic. It's Lower German that became. So English is basically What happened was Latin's a real language. Latin is a real language. Greek is a real language. Hebrew is a real language. Um, Sanskrit is a real language. Ge'ez is a real language. The ancient languages are the real languages. What happened was Latin was forced onto Germanic peoples. And then they spoke a broken version of Latin that later became German. And then German, Lower German, crossed the channel into England over the friggin' French lands. And eventually it became Anglo. It was like, it was Lower German and it became Anglicized Lower German, which later got some French thrown in there because the friggin' French were around, Huguenots. Huguenot Latin, and it got mixed around. A bunch of people mixed their words, and then we eventually got English. English is not an actual language. They tell you it is, but it's not. It's a complete lie. If you know the history of languages, look at the language tree. It's not a language. So I had to just say that, but we'll call it a language because everybody else calls it a language, but it's not a language. Latin is a language. Ge'ez is a language. Hindi is a language, but it's actually Sanskrit. Tamil is an actual language. It's Dravidian, but it's an actual language. These are complex, beautiful, rich, syntactical systems, So anyway, I believe that the more complex your language is, the better you can form your thoughts. Ray Emiliano. Ah, there you go. If you're actually, it could be Spanish, but it could be Italian. All right, is Spanish, Italian, same thing? Not really. I'm sorry. Sorry, Italian. Sorry, Spanish speaker. All right. Every language you can communicate in is real. Yeah. Okay. Every language is adapted from what can be when I'm faking my name, by the way. LOL. Okay. Oh yeah. Ray Romano. Oh, Ray Emiliano. Okay. Yeah, Ray Emiliano. I think I'm going the right place with that, but I may not be. All right. So yeah, socialization allows for that, and I get it. But it's like if you have to turn your brain off, you're right. Look, if it's a language in which you can communicate, fine. It is what it is. But if you have to turn your brain off, like if you have to just, well, actually, it's, I get it. I get it. I get it. The kids are talking this way, and that's where we're going. Like, you know, I have to agree. I just hate to, man. Because look, Hermes Trismegistus said that humans would devolve to the point of animals, low animals. Not talking like tigers and lions and stuff, but like low animals, like dogs and apes, like street dogs and apes. And, bruh. So you're right. I have to accept it. I just don't. I don't want to. I just want humans to be like, really like the Vulcans, or at least the Romulans. Let's say that. If you're a Star Trek fan, hit me up. I want humans to be like the Vulcans or the Romulans, but let's be honest, humans are like Klingons. So, I mean, Norwegians are like the Vulcans, but anyway, some cultures are more like the Klingons, some like the Vulcans. Gene Roddenberry was a brilliant mind. He's one of my great heroes. Anyway, so socialization. Here I am, social intelligence. Socialization actually kills social intelligence. Socialization forces a lot of kids into pre-designed social boxes based on race, skin color, the hood, where you grew up in the hood or not. And that's regardless of their natural genius. And so it trains kids to shut off curiosity and to obey a social script. When I was a kid, they tried to get me on all this African American black stuff. And I bought into it for a while. But fortunately, I had a family that read books. And we did have an indigenous history that was transmitted to me by the matriarchs of my family. I did read the books, the primary source documents, and some of the books that were based on those primary source documents. I would read them at 10 years old, 11, 12. And I was actually given a better perspective of what I was and where I came from. And so they were always trying to get me, yo, 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 ho, 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 yo, 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 yo. That was in the 90s. Yo, 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 cool, man, brother, man. Yo, what's up, bro? Hey. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, what's up? The sky is? I don't know, man. I was more Steve Urkel. But the socialization, I was very fortunate because I grew up in a family that broke that socialization by empowering me to know who I am as a Marian person. Okay? Fortunate to have a history from that part of the world. And so I can honestly say that. But a lot of kids don't get that. You go to school and we con la raza. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we're gonna be like asthmatic cholos. Vamos a ir a la casa, güey. No, you're not that, bro. Just because your name is Carlos Sanchez doesn't mean you got to fit into that La Raza way. You don't got to do that. You can be whatever you are, and then they're going to call you like, what, a coconut or an Oreo or something like that. No, 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 no. I'm functioning within society in a way that is beneficial to me. Okay? All right? It's cool to be down with the people, but, you know, if the people are down and you're down with them, then don't complain when your life is, oh, shit. All right? So while conformity is useful to some extent with the little monsters under the age of 5, the adorable children, it is overemphasized often in schools and it kills their spirits. And a lot of teachers try to fight this. I've worked in elementary schools. I've been in elementary schools. I worked in elementary schools for on and off for many years. And I see how their spirits are broken. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking, man. It's really when you see the light leave their eyes between the ages of 5 and 7. I mean, that you can see these bright little beautiful beings, and then after summer they come back to school, they're gung ho, and then like 6 months in, you see the lights turned off, zombified. I fit into this group. I'm trying to be like them. I don't have a soul anymore, and it's heartbreaking. And we can change that, guys. We can break that script, and we're doing it as Apex humans. You know, re-tapping into our inner genius, the eternal God of all things. Okay, so you know, that's that. I hope I'm not missing up. Yeah, yeah. Wish I could jump on and talk with you on live and pick your brain. Hey, look, you can jump on. There's a sorry, just hit the links in the description and we can set up a call or something like that. There's just hit me up on IG. Send me a thing, and then we can do a call or something like that. And if you want, you can do a full consultation. It'd be fun. All right. Discord. Oh God, I don't do Discord. It's Discord. It's so discordant to me. I really need organization. All of the different rooms and the clickety clicks. It's just too much. I just can't do it, brother. And I choose not to. I have the ability, but I choose not to. It's just like when I open Discord, I immediately go, you know, and I prefer Instagram. I just like things that are super organized, and I get it. But then it's like you click, and then it's another thing opens, and another thing opens. It's like, where am I? How do I get back? And it was just like, I don't do Reddit. I don't do Discord. I just can't. I just don't. So sorry about that. So Instagram is I don't even like Instagram, but I've curated my Instagram so I don't see all the shaking booty breast women. That another thing annoys me, man. I healed myself from that, and I don't get like into it. I don't really like seeing those women, but I just get annoyed with it because it's like, this doesn't pertain to anything that I like. Give me some conspiracy stuff. Even that trash I'll watch quicker than some hot, sexy booty shakers. All right. Anyway, so in Apex societies, socialization is about connecting children based on their function, based on their aptitude, excellence, compatibility, and shared mission. So if you got a little group of girls, and I love this, that just naturally click together. And they're not that way because they're all the pretty ones, but they're just naturally clicking together. Leave them alone. If they self-select under the age of 5, they self-select. Watch why they self-select. Why are they doing this? And then if you see certain ones with certain aptitudes, match them up. Say, okay, Billy over here does this really well, and then Johnny over here does this really well. And imagine what it'd be like if they came together and shared an interest. And they also have some social cohesion together. Let's see what happens. You can build superpowers that way. Okay? And finally, I did a lot of talking on the social one. Finally, we blasted through 11:11. God bless it. Because I'm gonna move on to the next step. And then finally, spiritual intelligence. This is super important. Spiritual maturity is the cornerstone of an Apex society. And you'll see that the further you go back to the golden age, the closer you get to the golden age, you go back 6 to 12,000 years, you'll notice that they don't have this strong dualism in society. And one of the hallmarks of spiritual maturity is the ability to discern true morality in life. The church will never teach you true morality. They teach you a satanic form of morality, which is righteousness by works. And they'll call it something else. Oh no, you just need to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. But if you don't, you're gonna burn in hell. Righteousness by works. No, it doesn't work. There are lots of people that haven't accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior. They're happy, healthy, strong, supportive, whatever, and they help and save a lot of lives. You think the guy Schindler's List that saved all those people from the fires in the ovens, did he accept Jesus as his Lord and Savior? No. Okay? You think people that created cures that saved, Louis Pasteur, maybe he did, because he was Christian, I guess. But there were lots of people that didn't accept Jesus as the Lord and Savior, and they actually were an asset to the human species. So spiritual maturity clears all of that malarkey out. Where are you going to go after you die, brother? Do you know where you're going to go after you die? Yeah, I'm going to go where I was before I was here. So why am I freaking out? No, salvation's about a good life now. Spiritual maturity helps you to discern that. There's so anyway, no spirituality should be hindered by superstition. Anytime you have superstition in a spiritual system that is not any form of superstition that is not, oh goodness, resolved by logic, because the Bible is the most important book. It's the most important piece of technology on planet Earth. But unfortunately, religionists and atheists read it superstitiously. Talking snake. Okay, well, isn't there another definition for Nachash? Yeah, the occult. Okay, why aren't we calling it the occult brotherhood? What about Chava, Eve? Is there another definition for that? Oh, yeah, the inner self. Oh, anyway, I can get into the etymology of it and the deep science of it, but the Bible is super important. But unfortunately, you cannot derive the spiritual insights from it because of superstition. And that's spiritually abusive, and that's the fault of the church and of science. Science, what they teach you in seminary is not science, it's whatever. But anyway, spiritual maturity is the corner of spiritual intelligence. And that's your ability to discern true morality, true objective morality, true spiritual insight. The ability to receive direct insight from the Most High and create new and beautiful things in the world is the cornerstone of that. A marriage of logic, reason, creative intelligence, and intuition is what spiritual maturity is. And so that means I can read the Bible and I can actually derive real life spiritual insights that also connect me to the all in all. Help me to understand the substrate of reality, the data stream that created this simulated reality. I can actually understand it. I can communicate with it. I can gain insights from it. And so spiritual maturity allows you to do that. Oh, Miss Hipsy. All right, so there is, okay, a little hipsy for me, but she's still cute. I'm working. Oh, yeah. Okay. A little hipsy for me, though. Anyway, getting distracted by the party faces. All right, so anyway, divergent ideas and perspectives are welcomed in open debate when you have a spiritually mature society, because you can actually discern whether or not the ideal is beneficial for the whole, beneficial for individuals. So the process of curiosity in a spiritually mature society leads to exploration and demonstrates to all people the soundness of ideas in question. And this is what spiritual intelligence allows you to do. So being spiritually mature means you can face anything. You can look at Satanism and not be fazed. You say, okay, this works. Actually, this makes sense. This is valuable. I'm incorporating that into my life. And you can look at Adventism at the same time. These are not necessarily conflicting things. Because when you look at the systems, you say, well, this is actually harmonious in my life. This is useful. This is not useful. This is. And you have a system that functions properly to discern and tease apart ideas that actually are harmonious and actually serve us. There are tons of things in the Satanic Bible that we need to incorporate as Christians. But nobody's going to read it. Oh, you touch it and you're going to get the boogie woogies. See, the superstition is so stupid. It's made of paper and ink, just like the Bible that you read. It's not the greatest technology on earth like the Bible, but it's a powerful, important book that I think all Apex Christians should probably read. Because you'll actually go back to the Bible and you'll be able to read between the lines. You'll be like, wait a second. Wait, these are the exact same? Oh my goodness. Anton LaVey said, you're a God. John 10:34 and 35. Jesus said, you are gods. Wait, what? Psalms 82 verse 6, you are gods. What? The word they used was Elohim, the guy that made Adam and Eve, or the being that made Adam and Eve. See, so you have to, having spiritual intelligence allows you to review things that you might be afraid to look at and help you to tease out the superstition. Throw away the bullshit and the BS, the bad science, the bad spirituality. All right, so that's why we have to cultivate that. And when you have that, you can go through the world, you can deal with just about anybody, and you can get ideas from them, you can learn from them, and you can do really well. Why do you think Ashkenazi culture did so well? They traveled all throughout Europe for 800 years, more or less. I mean, they started in Germany, and even Sephardic Jews in Spain and places like that. They learned from the people they were around because they had spiritual intelligence. Okay, all this like anti-Semitism stuff is bullshit because the people that they're hating on were just intelligent culturally enough to say, oh, let me see what you got to say. Oh, well, that's a good idea. Well, let me apply that. Think about all the great Jewish scholars over time. They were paying attention to the world around them, and they were writing new things. They were creating new ideas. Look at Philo of Alexandria. He took pagan Greek ideas and fused them with Hebraic ideas, and now we understand spiritual psychology of the Bible. It wouldn't happen without him. Exegesis of the Bible wouldn't happen without Philo. Again, you have to be able to expose yourself to enough things and be able to look at them with spiritual discernment. And it's impossible to do if you have no spiritual intelligence. Spirituality isn't about vibes. It's about voltage that runs reality and experience. It's consciousness and flow. So discernment is essential to recognizing the primary data stream, or the Most High God, and tuning into it. We call the Most High God Yahweh, Atum, Adonai, Allah, Atman. Go on and on and on. But it is the highest of the highest. Adonai means the Lord of Lords, right? The church taught obedience to divine authority, all right? But understand that Satan is divine authority. He's the divine authority over earth. And so the church is teaching you obedience to divine authority. Maybe use some spiritual discernment so you can say, wait, Satan, no. Oh, sorry. Oh, to heck with you, Satan. Almost. Sorry, guys. To heck with you, Satan. You're not the God of me. Like, what did Jesus say? Jesus said, I defeated the Archon. He has no power over me. But he also referred to him as the Archon. And in other parts of the body, in the New Testament, they actually refer to Satan as Theos. Theos, guys. The God of this world. Theos. There's only 2 times that Theos is not, well, that I found, and I got to look at it again, but I looked at all the uses of Theos in the New Testament and in Strong's. It does not apply to anybody but the big one, right? Adonai. But it was Theos with a small t, so it's Satan. All right, so it just means any divine being. But we're also called Theos in the New Testament. Jesus actually referred to us as Theos in the New Testament. John 10:34 and 35, for those of you who want the reference. All right, and look it up in Strong's. You'll find it's Theos, Theoest. It's the plural second person of Theos, which is God, the Most High, the Eternal One. All right. Anyway, so Satan is divinity. So you have to have spiritual discernment and be able to tease apart darkness and light. And you can't do that if you don't cultivate your spiritual intelligence, develop spiritual maturity. Apex Christianity teaches direct access to the Most High God, which gives you the spiritual discernment. This is reinforced by the greatest technology on earth, the Bible. So when God speaks, us Apex humans can hear. And then we move, we create, and we harmonize with flow and enthusiasm. So I got to the end of that. I want, 11:29. It's close. 11:11. So anyway, those are the 7 dimensions of intelligence that have to be cultivated. I'll say them again very quickly. It is, first of all, intellectual intelligence. They already work on that with you in school. Then it's procreative sexual intelligence, being able to pick a partner that will harmonize with your goals and mission. Number 3 is emotional intelligence, regulating yourself, and you also regulating a room emotionally, being self-aware, being able to regulate and utilize your emotions to create new things as well. Number 4, perceptual physical intelligence, your embodiment. You understand how your body works. You're listening to your body. You're loving your body because it's a temple of the Most High God. Number 5 is pleasure intelligence. This is the co-creative sexual intelligence. This means the pleasure of bringing new things into the world, connecting with people that will help you do that. And this is not meaning we're bringing bodies together and making more humans, but we're using that ability to bring new things in the world. Number 6 is social intelligence. Understanding human dynamics, community building, and cooperative excellence. So, hey, look, we're connecting, we're building, and we are actually socializing ourselves for success. And then, of course, 7, and finally, spiritual intelligence, discernment, being able to tell the voice of the Most High God from the voice of the God of this world. They're both well, the Most High God is above everything, and you always feel peace and joy and pleasure and power within your spirit when you're communicating with the Most High. But when you're talking with the God of this world, the Archon, the Lord of Lights, maybe I won't call him that, but he's loose for the Morning Star, Eos Foros, you're gonna feel some guilt and shame and all that stuff. You go, oh, I need to be better. I'm not a good enough person. Okay, now you're dealing with the Satan God. It's okay. You can worship Satan if you want, but you're not an apex Christian. You're not an apex human. He's going to lead you into feeling bad about yourself all the time, and you're never going to reach your goals. So stay away from that. Develop spiritual intelligence. That's the 7th dimension of intelligence, which allows you to divine truth and actually create a world that works. So anyway, in conclusion, the golden age is here, folks, and we are cultivating that golden age energy within ourselves. God woke me up in 2010, and that's why I wrote the book, Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. One of the most powerful books in the world. As a matter of fact, the most important book you'll ever read if you intend to be an apex Christian or an apex human. So this holistic intelligence quotient network, or dimensions, are how we reclaim our power over the matrix as children of the Most High God. All right. And as we upgrade ourselves as a species and move into this golden age, the golden age is going to need leaders. It's going to need leaders. And you are born apex. You're born a geopolitical Christian. You're born a child of the Most High God already. The question is, are you choosing it? Well, that is all I got to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below. And also, this is a very long video. For those of you who made it to the end, good job. Stay apex. Yeah, make sure you get your copy of Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. If you want to connect with me, all the links are in the description. I'm going to work on the description because when I changed it, all the links got funky. So I got to change it up again. Anyway, stay apex.